Welcome to The Flip Side. This is Gulnarveer Krishna, and today we have with us Bobby Kandhari. Bobby Kandhari is one of Hyderabad's most recognized social personalities, a woman who brings energy, warmth, and effortless charisma to every room she walks into. Known for her impeccable style and ability to connect with people, Bobby has become the heartbeat of the city's most celebrated events. On the flip side, we explore the woman beyond the spotlight, her rhythm, her resilience, and what it truly means to hold space for people with grace. So, welcome to the flip side, Bobby. Thank you so much for coming. And whenever I've met you and whenever I think of you very warmly. And I don't know how you've left that impact, but of course, with a lot of events, with meeting so many people, it's amazing how you leave a little bit of that warmth with all of us.
Oh, that's
And
so
I think
sweet
that's
of you,
why you're one
Gulnaz.
of the most
Thank you.
celebrated as well in Hyderabad, and everybody, of course, knows you and loves you. But I want to talk about who is Bobby when nobody is watching. Let me start with that because this is going to be all about you and not so much about what you do and how you are everywhere. But I want to know about when you're not everywhere and when no one's watching. Who's Bobby?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me here, Gulnar. I feel the same towards you. You are such a warm person yourself. And I think we've kind of connected very beautifully. And I hope this connection stays strong always.
Yes, we've got our common
Yes,
friends and
we
very
have.
strong
We
ones
have. Yeah.
outside Hyderabad too.
I like the connect
So
we
yeah,
have.
yeah.
It's special.
It
It's
is
really
special.
special.
It's family.
It
It's
is.
family. Yes.
It is. It is. And I don't know. I'm just another person like all of us when we are home, de-glam and
There's a whole
pottering,
different section for glam for you, huh? So,
pottering around the garden or playing with my dog. That's precious for me. So that's what I like to do when I'm not doing anything.
wow.
Love that.
And what about family and the time that you spend? Of course, you're always in a glam zone.
No,
but
I'm
at
not.
home,
That's a
but at home because I
misconception.
am the pajama girl at home and I love my oversized tees and I'm practically living in my husband's
I'm
oversized
like that as well.
tees.
I mean,
But
my
yes.
dirty kaftans and my hair up and grunge, very grunge. So,
In
yeah,
fact,
yeah.
I've started cracking a joke at home that, from Bhikari to Begum. Like, suddenly
like
we
that.
transform.
I like that. I
We
like
suddenly transform.
I think we're
But
all
is
like
that
that.
you at home?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think all of us are like that. You want to just take everything off and just be yourself and just, oh, I don't have to worry about the cameras. I don't have to worry about putting on a face. So,
True.
yeah, it is. It's like that. It's very comfortable and nice and basic. I like that. Yeah.
But in the industry that we work in, we have to have a face that is for the public. And then there is a face for the closed and loved ones. So the balance that I realized over the years that I had to strike was how I could stay connected with myself and be true to both sides of my life. So, how is that balance that, in fact, I do want to talk about that balance because with you, it's every single day. You're in a different city, there's a different event, you could be having a lunch and then you have to suddenly rush to a party. I find that very difficult to do at the moment, or maybe it's because my children are very young and I want to just spend that time with them. But has this been you all along, or you're striking that balance still and you find those quiet moments to just truly stay connected to you?
So it's a little bit of both. I basically am a very people's person. So I like meeting people, I like going out, I like doing all that. So that's, I think, what has helped me in my work. Because my work also involves me to meet people, be social, smile. But yes, it's becoming very, very difficult because my work spills out into my social life as well. I don't know where the line ends. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired from just smiling and being, that glamorous person all the time. And balancing act is very difficult to follow. So yeah, it's getting very, very difficult to keep that balancing act going without losing my cool. So I'm doing it till I can. Then let's see.
But in terms of staying connected, I know that you have a very strong network of friends, and honestly, I love and swear by my girlfriends. I feel they are the biggest support system that I have, and they are the family that you choose. But when it gets too much with work, and in your line of work, it's also a blend, right? You need to have all your friends. So a few times I feel that, okay, I can't keep troubling them. They have their lives to lead as well. And of course, my profession could be very demanding in terms of taking out time. But you're also very fortunate because with your line of work, you can spend that time with your girlfriends. But where are the boundaries over here
So
for
there
you?
are very clear and defined boundaries set by me myself, because like you rightly said, my friends are part of my social work as well, and you don't want to upset anyone or put pressure on anyone or kind of put them in an awkward position where they have to, like decide, oh, do I do this because she's my friend, or do I do this because she's asking me to? I never want to put people in that position. So I never do. I'm always very, very, very clear about that. I keep my friends very close to my heart because they have been such an integral part of who I am today. And I make sure that I don't ever want to put them in a position where they feel awkward by my professional side. So I think that's a balance I have kind of managed to strike. Touch wood, I would like to say beautifully, because it hasn't impacted my friendships, I would say, and I'm very fortunate about that.
But in terms of being the center of attention, okay, which I would want to talk about that too, because with us, and for me, of course, I'm more back end over the years. Sometimes I do come in front of the camera, but in terms of staying back end, promoting the brands, the people, that is our real job, and that is what we do, and that is what I thrive on. Because if I am able to promote a brand or somebody who I truly respect and admire, I've won right there, right? So in terms of being that center of attention always, and your friends come for you, right? They would be attending everything for you. So what is that real experience for you like in terms of being that center of attention on and off, minus work, plus with work? You have to
I,
be the life of the party, because that's how I've always seen you as.
I think you're being very generous, Kulnar. I've never seen myself as a center of attention.
Yeah,
I've never ever done that. I always like to focus on the others around me.
around you.
And if
Maybe
that,
your aura is very strong and
I
off
don't know,
end.
I,
I
I
think it's
don't
the
know.
glam also that comes in
I don't know.
with
I
the
just,
work.
that comes very naturally to me, which is why I don't feel I'm the center. It's just who I am. So I never want to go out of the way to grab the spotlight or grab the attention. I'm very, very happy, in fact, focusing it on others. So I never feel that. So it's for me, it's always about everybody else around me. I want to be inclusive. I want to bring everyone in. So I never want to focus it on me.
All right. So I love how inclusive you are, but I have to also make you realize that you are the center. But let's talk about the growth in this journey. What has truly helped you grow into the persona that people see today?
So, I've always felt that the persona is an extension of me. The persona and the person somewhere have gotten intertwined because I am by nature a very extroverted person. I am social. I love bright colors. I love meeting people. So I feel there is a little bit of an interconnect between the person and the persona. And coming back to say how the persona has grown, that is for the others to decide. I don't see that. Like I said, I really don't see that. I really truly believe that this is just who I am and who I will always want to be.
So, is there a lot of emotional energy,
Oh, yes.
that gets drained?
Absolutely.
Because, of course, a lot of people that you meet, some people uplift you, some people drain you. You have to balance out so much, and especially when it comes to high demanding professions where you are interacting with a lot of people. You also have to stay connected, stay balanced, and that calmness that has to come in the chaos, which I know every event eventually ends up demanding. So, where in this is the emotional connectedness? How are we juggling with that?
That's a very, very difficult ask, Gulnar. You know it. You're very much a part of the same field. Yeah. I find that the most difficult part of this profession. Balancing egos, a fragile, relationships, very prominent people we're all meeting. You don't want to upset anyone. And it drains a lot. And then you have, like you said, some people who uplift you and some people who want to drag you down. So you can feel that toxicity, you can feel that negativity. And throughout it all, I want to smile, I want to be me, I want to be this, like all is well. But inside, I'm not. So that takes a lot of emotional and, it's a very difficult thing to deal with day after day after day. And that does take its toll. People don't see that. They see the glamorous side of the profession. Oh, this is so la di da, and you're hobnobbing with XYZ, and you're traveling to exotic locations. Everyone only sees the glamour. You don't see the back end that goes into it. You know how much back end goes into it. It's not just people management. Today, I personally feel, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, people management is the most difficult thing in the world. And if you can do that, at least fairly, then I think you've won half the battle, if not the whole.
In fact, over the years, I do want to discuss about people management because it took me a long time to realize. Initially, my father's an army officer, so I come from that discipline and that structure. So over the years, it was always about time management for me. But later on, when I started, working, and of course, I took on my entrepreneurial journey, it wasn't just managing the team in house, it was also dealing with people outside. And I realized people management is the make or break of our profession. And without that, you will just probably be losing that connect with yourself, or having the wisdom also to speak the right things to the right people, and also wisdom, and have those boundaries. In fact, I do want to also share this with you. I don't know if you remember, but we were working on a few projects together, but I would feel very drained out most of the times, and I have given you those SOS calls where I've just vented out that, okay, this is going on. But I loved how you responded with that calmness, and you said, you switch off when you have to. And you show up the next day, you put on that smile, and the show goes on. But you need to start switching off. And I learned that with you. It was in a very subtle way, but I got the message over that phone call, and I said, you know what, this is coming from a very wise lady, because you are interacting with so many people all the time, and you may not necessarily remember as well what you're saying to who. And it is a difficult juggle in your head and
very
heart.
difficult. It's very difficult. So you just have to pick your battles and decide, is this worth losing sleep over? Or just, like put on your face, like I put on my face. I'm like this smile, I put on my face, and I'm like, see, what the world sees is not what actually is. This is what we want the world to see. This is our line of work. So mine spills over, yes, a lot. But by and large, but by and large, I'm able to do that. I'm also learning. We're all learning every day to remove all negative and toxic elements from my life without, I think, rocking the boat. So I just distanced myself instead of making it all about you said, she said, he said. I just take one step back, and believe me, Gulnar, that has worked beautifully for me and for my well being. I don't have to worry about anything, I don't have to give justifications, nothing. I just step back and I'm happy.
So I've realized in how my life has panned out. In my 20s, I was extremely social, and yes, there were lots of parties, lunches, you met everyone, your life is your friends. 30s were primarily dedicated to work. And I think as I'm going into my 40s, it's shifted completely to just family, and I want to spend that time with family. But how has it been in the different decades in your life?
I can't really pinpoint decades because I would like to say I've always put family first. Work came to me much later on in life. I wasn't really working. I always wanted to do something, but typically my husband would say, there's no need for you to work, the typical Punjabi male syndrome. So for me, it was all about family, like the big, fat, happy Punjabi family. And then married very early, very early. And so it was always about the children, and we have extended families and family holidays and everything. So work came to me very late in life, and it was something that just happened by accident. And I love it. And it's my family that has always supported me and encouraged me and told me, no, this is something that if you love it, you should do it. So I think you're absolutely on the right track when you say you're getting back to family, because
For me,
family
my
first.
path was different. I think
Family
because
first.
20s
Yeah.
and 30s, it was
Yeah.
just about, also discovering yourself and
You know, we
working
are
and,
always discovering
yeah,
myself. I discover a little bit new about myself
every
every
year.
day.
Oh, so sweet. I was
Every
saying
day.
every
Yeah.
year for me as a
Every day.
journaling moment,
Every day
but
is a learning curve.
every day is beautiful, which in
Yeah.
fact, let's talk about that, because every day, what are the daily rituals or practices, or what is it that you do on a daily basis to stay aligned in all this chaos that's around you? No, because I think, like you said, there has to be a lot of awareness and consciousness to grow, to tap into that awareness that, okay, I am growing every day, because not all of us realize that. I mean, these days, trust me, I'm sleeping and waking up every 3 hours to feed my little one. Yeah, so I don't have those moments where I can even pause and say, okay, have I grown a little? Was I better than yesterday? Because that's a question I keep asking myself.
You need to consciously ask yourself that question. You automatically are. As a mom, as a wife, as a friend, you are growing. And I mean, this is something that I have not flogged myself for. As long as I'm not in a space where I'm stagnating, I'm growing. So it's fine. I mean, you learn something every day. I'm learning. I mean, whether it's a small thing like picking up a book and reading it from the book, or learning from you, or learning from the people around me, we're all learning. So that's nice.
So, in the chaos, for me, daily journaling is something that kind of keeps me grounded, and also my to do list, which sometimes I'm also shamelessly sending my husband late at night that, okay, next day we got to look into all of this, personal or professional, because today it's kind of blending in. So, what are the daily practices? I do want to touch upon that with you. I mean, of course, I loved how you said that you're growing every day and, you're very aware of it. But what is it practically that you do to stay grounded?
So I have this little morning ritual that for me is sacrosanct. It's non-negotiable. So I wake up in the morning and I just look at my phone. My mom doesn't stay with me, so I just see all is well, and then I put my phone off for 2 hours every morning. I will put my phone off. I will just sit, me, my dog, my crossword, my coffee. And my two boys, whenever they surface, they'll come and they'll spend some time with me. So for me, that is the best part of my day. That gives me the energy to go on with my day. And everyone who knows me knows they cannot call me at these 2 hours of the morning. Yeah, everyone, all of them know me. Oh, her phone's going to be off. Unless it's like absolutely urgent or something, they will try and call somebody else. But that is something that I don't compromise on. Even the cooks and all at home, they're like, acha nahi, abhi nahi. Then once I'm done with my me time, my dog, my bachas, then I get on with the day. It gives me that energy to charge.
Charge.
I
And
love that.
I think that's so important, and I
Yeah.
think that is your battery charge, because
It
through the day,
truly
then
is,
you're
yeah.
interacting with the whole
Yeah,
world.
you know, I mean, it's everything. It's all, the whole outside world is coming in. So this is just me, what I like doing best. I sit in my garden and I just sit, you know, I'm a very paper and pen girl. I like my little morning crossword, my coffee, my doggy, and then my boys. Okay, come, you know. So it's lovely. It's really lovely. I love that.
So I see that there are quiet moments in the day that one needs to energize. But I've also realized that over the years, and especially in the adulting part, you also have to steal moments of joy. Not everything is hunky dory, and this persona that we put on, and everything is great, and Instagram life is all perfect, but it's not. There are a lot of imperfections. There's a lot of growth, struggle, challenge that each one of us deal with, and we never ever speak about it. So this is my unspoken section, okay, which I do want to touch upon, because there are moments in life which do make you pause, reflect, and you want to withdraw from the noise. I have been in that phase, and for personal reasons, and of course, many who are close to me and most also know why. But in your life, which were those moments which made you withdraw from the noise, and you said enough?
There have been more than one, I would like to say. But like you rightly said, all of us have these moments when the whole world comes to a stop. And we've all dealt with our share of grief and our share of problems. But of course, at that point of time, everyone feels their problems are the most serious, you know. So in my case, I lost my husband very early on in life. and my children were very small. It's been 14 years today since he's been gone. And it was very difficult for me to deal with that situation because it was just a shock. And there was so much to deal with. And, you don't know. There's no manual. It doesn't come with a book. It doesn't come with this is the right thing to do or this is what should be done. And everyone was very supportive. And I'm so blessed to have great friends and family. But it really, really makes you, like you said, think, pause. What am I doing? Where am I going from here? What is my next step going to be? And I had no answers because there are no answers. So, it's just something that I think I drew within myself and said, and this is something I tell everybody who comes to me with questions about themselves or about their problems. And I'm like, just sit down and think and say, do I have a choice? So in my case, I actually did that. And I said, do I have a choice? I can either sit and weep and, lament that, oh, life has happened and stuff, or I can pick myself up. So I chose the latter. I said, I'm not going to sit and become a weeping willow and just cry myself away. I have 2 little boys to bring up. And I'm not giving up yet. I'm not giving up yet. So I don't know where I got that strength from. Today, when I
it's
look
also
back,
from your love story because
maybe, yeah.
I
It
think
was
it's
a
also
love story.
I
Yeah,
think it's
it
also
was.
from your love story because
it was.
you've handled everything with grace. And I think that strength and grace is who you are because of also the love that you have at home.
I would like to believe that. Yes, thank you. But yeah, I always tell people just don't give up. Don't give up. And don't become that weepy, crying person because you will not like that about you later. And sadly, I mean, this is something that the world knows, may not want to accept. Sadly, no one wants to be around someone who's always crying. They'll keep away from you. So try and be positive, try and be happy, at least when you're around people, because if you're spreading happiness, you'll attract happiness. I've learned that. And believe me, that has really helped me. Which is why when people say, oh, you're a positive, you bring a positive aura, I said, because that's what I firmly believe I want to spread and attract. So that's what I do.
But it takes a lot of courage. I
It
feel
does.
that,
It
it's
really
very
does.
courageous of you to walk into that room with that smile. There could be days where, those moments of silence you want to also steal for yourself. Think about, who is not by your side.
Gulnar, when I have a smile on my face but tears in my eyes, innumerable. But I don't want the world to see that. That's for me and my loved ones to see. Why should the world see that? That's not their cross to bear, it's mine.
Do you think this was a defining moment which made you realize your purpose in life to spread that joy? Do you think this was
Don't know whether it was the defining moment, but it definitely was a stepping stone to make me get up and grab my life with both hands. I was just so happy being this ladies who lunch wife, before.
lady of luxury
yeah,
and
lady
leisure?
of
I call my
luxury,
sister
yeah,
that all
yeah.
the time, that you're a lady of luxury.
So
and
suddenly you're just
leisure.
thrown into something that was so alien to me. And I think that inner strength just comes. It comes. You just have to look for it. All of us have it.
And
We
I
just
think your
have to find
pillars,
it.
your sons have
My
also
boys,
given.
yeah.
I think your
Yeah.
sons have given you that.
Today they are my pillars. They really are. The 2 young strapping boys I have. God bless. They're my biggest wealth today. I love them. I get so emotional with them. But yeah, touch wood,
You're a
they're
boy
good.
mama. You're
I'm
a boy mama
Like
like,
you.
me. Yeah,
Like
I know.
you,
So
yeah,
I,
yeah.
it's so strange because the older one used to come with me everywhere to work. Now, even with the younger one, I want to just literally strap him and take him
Yeah,
everywhere.
but enjoy it while you can.
But
There's going to be a time when they're going to say, Mama, we want nothing to do with you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because nowadays I have to literally catch hold of the older one and just
Yeah.
give me one hug, give me one
Yeah.
kiss, and
Oh,
off
no.
he goes.
That's not
So,
happening.
yeah.
Boys don't hug. Boys don't
they
kiss.
don't. They don't.
But yeah,
But
it's lovely.
yeah, let's talk about that because it is a similar atmosphere, and I love my girlfriends honestly because I want to feed off that feminine energy. Because at home I am only with my boys. So how do you juggle with the very heavy masculine and feminine energy, or is
Same
it the
as
glam
you.
also that
No, no,
that
no.
you know?
I just love my female company. There's nothing like a good girl sit down. I mean, I don't want to say piss up on this thing, but like just generally be with the girls and do nothing. Let your hair down, talk, cry, vent. You know, I mean, and it's such a girl thing. Guys don't do that. They may have their own bro code, but it's completely different. What the girls do, girls' holidays. I take a lot of girls' holidays. So when I'm finding it very heavy, I'm like, okay, I need to do this. So I just pack my bags and I go. I travel a lot, Gulnar. I'm like, okay, now the boys are grown up. If I'm feeling like very heavy or very stressed, I'll say, chalo. 2 days I'm going somewhere, even if it's just for 2 days. Come back, refreshed, recharged, game face on.
You know,
So,
it's,
like,
it's
yeah,
also
it works.
with men. I've realized there's no pity party that you can really throw. Life is very logical, practical, and you know that emotional side. Yeah, so I've realized you got to be that practical, logical, and I'm literally feeding off that at home sometimes because I am an emotional person, but I'm like, okay, I got to also start thinking logically, and working your personal life with that because my personal life was literally just stored for all my emotions. So yeah, so now of course, yeah, that is exactly. Now I'm struggling with that time for me, but I'll get there. I'll get there. Okay, so now we come to our fun segment, which is the rapid fire. Okay. So tell me the most unforgettable event that you've hosted.
We did this most amazing event in London.
Oh
At
wow.
the Wallace Collection. It's a beautiful museum in London, and has to be my most unforgettable and memorable event that we
Wow.
did.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Diamonds or drama?
Why not both? What's life without the other? A little bit of drama didn't hurt anyone, and diamonds are a girl's best friend. So I want both.
All right. What's your alter ego called?
Oh shoot, I don't have an alter ego. Do you?
None? None?
No. I mean, if I had to have an alter ego, maybe something like Bobby became Bindu. Yeah, why not?
I like Bobby
Gulnar,
became
that's you.
Bindu.
Bobby
From when I
became
said
Bindu,
Bhikari
yeah.
to Begum, this is Bobby became Bindu.
Why
All
not?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. Also, one thing people don't know about you, the Bindu part.
No, I don't think I have a Bindu part, but people that I would like to, that's going to be my alter ego. But I'm very, very, very sensitive, extremely sensitive. A lot of people don't know that about me because I'm always being this. But I can cry at the drop of a hat, and little things really, really, really bother me.
Oh wow!
I don't let people.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
knowing this. But okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna just walk a little away from the rapid fire, but I'll come back to that because I do want to talk about the misconceptions that people could have about you then, because not many know that
Yeah.
you're a softie inside.
I am extremely, but I've built up this, facade.
Image, yeah.
I don't want people to see that part of me. And misconceptions are many.
I
In
want to-
fact,
yeah, let's talk about
yeah,
that.
and it irks me. It really irks me. I have a lot of people tell me that they find me very intimidating and unapproachable, and because I
You have
think
this aura about
I
you
don't know.
and the glam that you walk
Yeah,
in.
I don't know that. And then they come and tell me, oh, we find her such. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so not me.
Yeah, that's not.
And the
because
people
you're
who
one of
know
the
me,
warmest
yeah,
people, yeah,
the people who
ever.
know me know that it's not true. So I feel that's the biggest misconception people have about me. They're scared to approach me. They won't want to talk to me, and they'll want to go through someone and say, and they're also surprised when they say that, but Bobby, she's so cool.
Yeah.
So that irks me. That actually irks me because I'm not.
Oh wow. It's really sad, but I think a lot of people do form a lot of judgments
Based on
and
appearances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
purely just on
Yeah.
appearances and yeah, stop
Yeah.
judging the book by its cover, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one. What's the flip side of being Bobby Kandhari?
Is there a flip side?
I want to know.
I don't know.
I there could be the down days. Give me a
Yeah.
flip side of it.
Let's pretend there's no flip side.
All right.
I'm just going to say I love being Bobby Kandhari.
Oh.
And I think just love yourself.
Beautiful.
I love myself. Someone once told me, love yourself first. Because if you love yourself, others will love you.
Others will love you.
So we all must learn to love ourselves.
Wow. Okay. So I wanna. It is towards the end, but no, I do wanna sign off with how the world would see the Bobby experience. How would you tap into that as
I
my
don't know how
closing
to answer
closing
that, Gulnar. I
message?
don't have
I-
a Bobby experience. You
I-
tell me.
No, I think that
You
there are a
tell
lot of
me.
experiences. The journey
Yeah.
has been very different. and you've taken life by its horns.
That I have.
But
that
you
I
gotta
have.
you gotta
Yeah.
share that as your Bobby experience.
I would say a
We'll
roller
all
coaster of
remember.
fun.
Roller coaster of
Yeah, let's
fun.
call it a roller coaster of fun.
Wow.
And with
Nice.
lots of laughter thrown in. Love, laughter, happiness.
That's exactly
Yeah,
who
I would
you
love
are.
that. I would love
ex-
that to be the Bobby
Oh,
experience.
that's exactly who you are, and thank you so much because you give us all that.
Oh, you're
Thank you
just
so
very
much
kind,
for being
Gulnar.
here,
Thank
and it
you.
means a lot to me that you were part of the flip side.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.